Hello everyone. Hi everybody. I hope everyone is actually doing very, very good. I hope today was just a fantastic day for everyone, once you have life, it's another day to make that day the best day ever. Each day you just have to make the best day ever. I mean, you will have up days, you'll have dark days, you'll have down days, but you just have to try and make each day the best day. Because sometimes, if there's a set time for your challenge to begin and to end, you can't hurry it. You can't hurry it along. You can't tell it to just move along quickly like that. Even if you have faith bigger than the mountain, or small as a mustard seed, there's challenges that are, slated for a particular time, because part of the fruit of the Spirit is long suffering. Part of the fruit of the Spirit is patience. Part of the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. So you see, those three, they work in tandem. They work hand in hand. And one of the things is that we have to learn how to bear our crosses. And, hold out to the very end. It's really about the survival of the fittest. So, the man who endures to the end really will be crowned. So I encourage us all, even me, because sometimes I'm not lying. I have the towel in my hand, right on the brink to throw them in, or throw it in rather. I have the towel in my hand, about to throw it in sometimes, because I say, Lord, the challenges are way too great. They're too much, and I don't know if I can bear. I don't know if I can bear them anymore and hold on any longer. I don't know if I have any strength left in me, and I am at the give up. I'm right at the give up door sometimes. And and I say, boy, God, boy, even if I scroll and I say an encouraging word, it's really not gonna move me, or cause me to change my mind. But I guess I just hold on. If the screen gets dark, I know my battery's about to die. So do I have mine charged? Yeah, yes I do. Yes I do have my little, hey, may I tell you, so technology is one of the most fantastic things, electronics and all of these things, beautiful people, because I can actually be on the road, and if I don't have my what should I say, a socket to plug my phone in, I can use a portable charger. Isn't that fantastic? Oh, see, and there is light. All right, people. So I broached this topic before, but I think I'm going to keep speaking about it, not because I'm trying to hit at anyone in particular or any groupings of persons or people rather, but because, in my opinion, let me put it that way, and I'm sure that is my opinion is also based on facts. I'm not saying it with pride. I mean it. I'm saying it. Bad parenting is, for me, maybe my figure may sound a little too exaggerated, but when you look at the grand scheme of things and you see a lot of the intervention, the programs that they use to create some behavior change for the better, we find they don't work because we're not dealing with the root cause. We're not dealing with the root cause, and I'm talking about the mayhem that goes on in our society, the crime and the violence, the domestic violence, the abuse among women. And sometimes we don't want to accept the fact that this or those consequences are as a result of bad parenting, abuse that went on when those men who are now abusers were in the homes. And usually, you'd be surprised, it's not the fathers who would have abused them or a male figure. It's usually the mothers. Either the mothers are very overbearing, extremely overbearing, which You know, if you check why some men are probably homosexuals, it is usually it's because they have a lot of they come from overbearing homes where the mother is the matriarch and she is the overbearing parent. I mean, she is like a dictator, you know, and how men are wired. Really, men are not really wired to be controlled by women. And I don't want women to get the impression that I'm saying that we are wired to be controlled by men. That's not what I'm saying. You know, God created men to be the head of the home, and sometimes women misunderstand what that means. He's really the spiritual guiding light, so to speak. He's a man who guides the family in a spiritual sense. He's a man who, for example, secures the home. You know, if a thief comes in, he wouldn't send out your wife to go and check to see what's going on or to protect the children or whatnot. You yourself as a man go there. You know, that level of testosterone and masculinity comes alive because that's how they are created. The woman might know her nurturing side will kick in and she will run to try and save the children, protect them, make sure that they're safe. You know, so they're like that safe haven. So what I'm saying is that when a young man grows up in a house where the mother is extremely overbearing and controlling, and sometimes, in many cases, or in a lot of cases, they're abusive verbally and physically. I guess in some in some areas sexually, but really I'm talking, you know, mentally and physically and verbally. Then they grow up, and that anger grows with them. That bitterness grows with them, you know, and they grow up abusing women. You know, they grow up, if they're in relations with women sexually, they grow up abusing the woman because there is that deep-seated anger. They end up not liking women. And when I say not liking women, I'm not talking about a sexual dislike. No, it is just maybe just the characteristics of women because of what they grew up seeing. They probably did not get to model or, you know, be in awe of a woman, the virtuous woman, as what the Bible spoke about. So they grew up abusing women because they come from homes where their mothers abused them when they were younger. I was driving somewhere recently and I saw a little boy. He looks like he was about between 4 to 5 years old. He looks more 4. And the mother, she's hitting him in his head back. The back of his head, she's there slapping him up in his head back and, you know, kind of cursing him out. And he's crying and crying. And I'm like, my God. Now, when he grows up, he may not necessarily become a homosexual, but he may get involved with a woman. And as soon as she just displays anything that just seemingly mirrors the mother, all of that anger is going to come out. All of that deep-seated resentment and hurt and pain will come out. And that is part and parcel women, why the men do not respect us. Yes, we allow it in some case. It has been allowed. One might say it's a patriarchal world and men run the world and all of that. I'm not saying nay, but we have to check a lot of the deep-seated root causes. A lot of the men grew up in abusive homes where the mother was the abuser. She was extremely controlling, as almost like a Jezebel spirit, and it grew with these men. And that anger and resentment is there. So it takes nothing for them to beat up a woman. Anything that she just does. She may even be a good woman, you know, but you know, we were all imperfect. She may have some bad ways and attitudes. I know us women, we're very lippy. Most of us, we're very lippy. And if we don't like some, we start to lip and yap, and then I just trigger something inside of that man psychologically, and they end up beating women. They end up verbally abusing because they couldn't take it out on the mother. When they're now older, they take it out on the wives, they take it out on the fiancés, they take it out on the girlfriends. Another woman on the road. Sometimes, I mean, you're driving on the road and the things that men will tell you as a woman, you say to yourself, this man really came from a woman. But I'm not, when I say I can understand, I'm not in support in any way of a man telling a woman what cloth made her up or not. I'm not in support of any man abusing a woman. Don't get me wrong. When I say I can understand, I guess I can understand, because when you watch a child, for example, like what I saw, being hit in his head back, you know, a 4-year-old child, and you might say you don't know what he did. Come on. The average 4-year-old, you know, them just full of energy and just probably running around and running and chasing down dogs and, I was about to say squirrels. We don't have that in Jamaica. You know? And it's not mischief, by the way. That's how God made them. They have energy. They have to play. They're not adults. They don't need to take on adult roles. That's a problem with us sometimes. We say, boy, they get trouble. And it's not trouble giving. That's who they are. They're children. They're supposed to play and ramp. You just guide them that they don't create mayhem for somebody else. You know, we grew up with some certain flaws, you know. We grew up with some flaws that we passed on from generation to generation, and we call it gospel and Bible. That it isn't funny. And a lot of our men have suffered under the hands of abusive mothers. Bad parenting, poor parenting. They told them no ends of bad words. They treated them poorly. They beat them unnecessarily. Screamed at them. Hit them up. You know, and I'm not saying that some of these men who are abusers, they grow up also seeing fathers abuse the mothers, and you know, they grow up doing the very same thing, because you know, young men definitely follow their fathers, or any strong influential man that they see on a daily basis, they follow them. So I'm not saying that, not in all cases, people, you know, I'm speaking generally. You will always have exceptions to the rules, but even those exceptions to the rules, if they don't get help mentally, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, and every way that you can think of, they will all end up that way. I'm telling you, some intervention took place at some. Either they become a Christian and change their lives over, and they still have to seek help, because you're real human beings with real feelings, human feelings. So even those exceptions, even if it is that they don't necessarily become abusers, they don't just not become abusers just like that. They don't just make that choice just like that. They get help. You know, and it doesn't have to be counting in the way we think. Maybe a mentor, you know, encouragement, and just willpower, you know, changing their mindsets, different things. But there is some intervention. You follow me? But bad parenting is what is destroying this country. Whether or not we want to believe it is so, people. Check it. Just check it. Read Jean Piaget's stages of development, Vygotsky stages of development in a child, and see how children learn. And that's how you form them. And the root and the tree becomes hard. 0 to 7 years are the most important years. Thereafter is basically just now learning how to think critically even more and more and more until you become an adult. That's it. That's just the realities. You know? So I am simply saying to us, we better get our parenting act together. Mothers, we need to stop having that Jezebelic spirit. We need to stop abusing our boys, stop abusing our girls as well. Mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally, even sexually, we need to stop it. We need more social workers in this country here. It is dreadful what is happening in the country, Jamaica. We can't even match our crime and violence rate, you know, to countries like, you'd say, Venezuela. It's sad, because when you try to, it's as though we really pass them out, even though they're bigger countries. It's bad. It is very bad in Jamaica, and a lot of malpractice goes on, even out there. Things that we pass on to say it's gospel and the, you know, the correct way of parenting. For example, with children, I gave the example. I'm saying if a child is very energetic, we say it's troublesome, you know, and the child grows up with low self-esteem. A lot of men are broken. A lot of women are broken as well. And you ever notice how we're very aggressive in this country? We can't, generally I'm speaking now, we don't deal with things in a gentle fashion. It's like an aggression spirit hover over the land. We're aggressive, we're aggressive, we're aggressive, we're aggressive, we are aggressive. And we need serious divine intervention in the homes, because they are broken. Bad parenting, bad and poor parenting. And we've got to get our act together. We have got to get our act together, people. It is really and truly bad. you know, and it will get worse if we don't change. Anyway, people, love you guys. Have a great one. Think on these things. A word to the wise is certainly sufficient.